Welcome to another Nurporial After Show. And let's just say this, I just finished the episode myself, so sorry about the confusion. I meant to say 12:40 a.m., not p.m. So, what's up, everybody? What's up? What do you guys think of the episode?
I liked it. I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far.
Okay.
But then again, I have been drinking bourbon.
Okay. Well, bourbon always really, enhances the experience. So, what about you, Mr. Ronnie G?
There was parts that bored me and that I was like, but then there was like a B plot, or was it an A plot? I'm not really sure. We'll get into it, but there were like flashbacks, I guess you would call them, that I found quite fascinating. So I look forward to, I'm glad they delved into something that I've been curious about for a while.
And my co-star Mike, you had an interesting take. Share your take.
I didn't like it that much.
Oh my gosh! No, I'm kidding.
Clutch the pearls.
So, Mike, what did you not? What can you just give us a little bit more? What did you not like about it, without going into too much detail?
Without going into too much detail, keep in mind I'm still trying to process this episode myself, but I didn't feel that certain story elements were needed. I felt they were wasted. I felt like this was one of those filler episodes where you would normally get in a 26 episode season, like we got back in, the TNG, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise era. And it honestly took away from some of the greatness that we had already seen from the season. Yes, maybe we got a little bit of backstory as far as to, what happened with a certain species on a certain planet, but there were just elements that felt like they were just thrown in there for the sake of throwing them in there.
Sounds like this kind of sounded to this. I felt Jaloja vibes. I felt what was episode 6 called of season 2, the one with singing in the rain. I forget the name of that one. Kind of made me think of those, because this was basically the fall in love episode that they were hinting at earlier in the season. So I thought the love stuff was pretty much the B plot, and I honestly felt that the stuff with the anti-Mocklins, I forget what are they called, the Genesi, I felt they didn't do much with them, but that's just my opinion. But before we get into this, I just want to say I am under the weather after that convention I went to last weekend. So so I don't look my best. So that's why you're not going to see me on camera tonight. So I know you guys all came here to see my my chiseled jawline and everything. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm going to be off camera tonight. So, but let's say hello to everybody. So, atheist for the cause says, I made a mistake in the time. I changed the time and I accidentally made it PM. And atheist says, I thought this was a horrendous episode, but I still love the show. Worst episode by far, 1 out of 10. And Magitech Mags is here too. Wow, Magitech Mags. We got more Kalon background. Yeah, that was the highlight of the episode. And oh my gosh, Pat Wannabe's here. He says, I guess I'm alone. I love this episode.
You're not alone.
Then OBG70 says, hey, what up, people? What up? How you doing? Then we got Ben Thatcher here too. If I have a complaint, it's that this should have been 2 episodes.
Actually, I agree with that.
Yeah. And he says the Kalon history feelings plot should have been 1 episode, and the patriarchal stuff with the relationship stuff another. Yeah, I agree with that too. I felt like they didn't do much with the matriarchal. They were just kind of there for reasons.
Comedy. I think
For
they were there for
comedy.
comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, for comedy. Yeah. So yeah, I mean not Ben. Ed and Ed, Ed and Gordon were the help, basically. So are we ready to dive into this episode?
I was born ready.
All right. Okay, so I go into this episode, and the first thing I see is this planet. Okay, there's this planet. Okay, what planet is this? I have no idea. Then we see these then we see a family, blue aliens with red eyes. Okay, I'm like, okay, I don't think we've seen them before. And Dad comes home, and the kids are excited. They're like, "Yay! Did you bring it? Did you bring it? Did you bring it?" And Dad's like, "Yep, I'm bringing it in right now." And they bring in this large container, this large crate, and the container has a Kalon in it. And we find out the Dad's name is Vanel, and he's like, "This thing is going to change our lives." And then it goes right away to opening credits. So this was the quickest going to opening credits. Like this was the quickest cold opening of all the episodes this season. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. So it felt like going back to watching, classic Orville for previous Orville seasons, classic Trek. I don't know, just felt nice, I guess. So we're now in we're now on the Orville, and we see a bed and two people are having sex. Well, it ends up we find out it's Tala and Lamar, and let's just say Lamar is injured. I think in this first time he has a broken arm,
and a fractured rib.
And a fractured rib. Okay, I didn't get that. Thanks. So basically, Chilean sex can be pretty risky. So
Pretty gnarly.
yeah. And of course, Lamar lies about it. He goes to sickbay and he lies about it. He tells Claire that he's doing combat training. She's like, really? You're doing combat training? I don't think you're being entirely truthful with me. He's like, oh no, it's true. It's true. So we find I put this down. We meet Claire's new assistant because that one dude got killed in the fly
Nurse Park.
devil.
That one dude. Show some respect. Nurse Park. Not
Nurse
some
Park. I didn't remember his name. So, but yeah, he got killed he became a fly person. So he's out there. He's out
Nurse
there.
Park.
He's out there flying and doing stuff. I don't know. So we find that she's a new redhead. Her name is Natalie, Nurse Natalie. So. And then Claire's like, okay, I got. She's like, take care of this, Natalie. And Claire goes out. She's like, she goes out. And we find out she's got a date in the simulation with Mark Jackson. We get to see Mark Jackson again. Mm-hmm. And then she tells Isaac that she suspects Lamar of not being honest. Of course, Isaac attempts to flirt with her, saying, I think he says he'll eat her. I was like, ooh, it's kind of suggestive.
He said you look good enough to eat.
Yeah. And then they ask, are they a couple? Who knows? And then of course, so what do you think of all this so far? So nice little bits of comedy in here. We got Tala and Lamar and all that.
Yeah, I like the comedy bits.
Yeah, the Tala and Lamar had me cracking up.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that, someone broke bones, because I was, first time they got together, I was like, thinking, okay, they slam against the wall, but nobody got hurt yet. But at least it's consistent with her physiology or physiognomy. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Some people have been killed by Chilean sex. I mean,
that was funny. That was pretty interesting to hear.
To quote the Joker, if you gotta go with a smile.
That's what I said when a certain character on Better Call Saul died. I'll just say that. I literally said that. But I want Magic Text. So Mags has to say the blue aliens immediately made me think of the Kalons. I was right. Yeah. I was asking I'm like, is this? Because at first I thought maybe it's the people that they go on the planet to see, And I was like, or maybe this is the Kalon. So I literally wrote that down, and I'm like, whoa, I was right. So, but yeah, I thought that so far I thought this was pretty funny. Now we get into the matriarchal parts. So here we learn that they're trying to meet. They're trying to rendezvous with the Genesi. They are a matriarchal society who do not trust men who are domineering. So, and then this one made me chuckle. Boris basically wonders why the Union would deal with such a closed-minded society, and the way that Claire just eyed him just made my day.
During my live reaction, I says the Mocklin.
Yes, and then I think even Kelly gave the eye too. I thought that I rewound that and I still laughed. I laughed at that twice in a row.
I think everybody gave him the eye.
Yeah, but we only see Claire and Kelly, the two shots of them doing it. So for reasons, and then of course we learn that they need all the friends they can get, and it made me think. Believe it or not, it made me think of something Ruafo said in Star Trek Insurrection, where he says, they talk about the Dominion War. He's like, your list of allies grows thin, or something, or maybe it was that. I don't remember. It was something along those lines. So yeah, so they with the Kalon, with the Kalon threat, and of course the peace with the Krill going in the shitter. They need all the help they can get. So that's why they started negotiating. That's why they were ordered to start negotiations with them. Why? Well, because they're the Orville. They're the main ship of the show. Of course, they're going to be the ones to do it.
Well, actually, I think Kelly explained why, because Mercer had initially did the groundwork for the Krill treaty. So this is why the Admiral told the Orville to do it. Because I guess he figures if they can get the Krill to work with them, they should be able to get these people to work with us.
Well, yeah, and then they're the main characters of the show, of course. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right on that. So they have to go to Situla 4, I believe is the name of the planet, and the Orville has to begin a dialogue, and they're like, "How are we going to begin a dialogue?" And then Ed's like, "We came up with something." So we get to the next scene where the delegation comes from that big triangular looking ship.
Actually, I like this ship.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
And the shuttle too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then they basically come aboard the shuttle bay, and we meet Captain Losha, and she is accompanied by First Officer Kava and First Lieutenant Hodel, and of course.
Not to interrupt, but the captain, I've seen her somewhere before. I can't place her. I think I've seen her on Star Trek.
She made me think of Iman's character a little bit from Star Trek 6, a little bit.
No, I think she was on the episode of Star Trek Generation. I just can't place her.
Okay, but I was just saying that's who I thought of when I saw her, because she. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I think you might be right. I can't wait to look that up. So. Yeah. And of course, of course we learn. Of course, Kelly is the captain, and I believe Tala now is the first officer. And of course, Charlie gets more screen time. Hello, hi. Charlie is now the chief engineer.
Wait a minute. Now let's stop it right here. Shouldn't the chief engineer be Lieutenant Turcos, who works in engineering?
That would have been the smart move, but because we have Charlie Burke, we got to give her more screen time.
No, because Charlie Burke is banging Seth MacFarlane.
I know what.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't dislike Charlie like most people do. I understand where she's coming from and where they're trying to take the character, but god damn it, she just got too much screen time.
Yep. So they meet those four, and of course they're like, "Hey, we need our luggage taken, and so we need help." And so they're like, they're like, Mercer, Malloy, get in here. And they have to take, like, they're like, we have a lot of luggage. And they're like, oh, we can handle it. We can handle it fine. Thank you. How are you? You know,
Don't they have like anti-grav?
Yeah, right.
I guess not in this case. I guess they have to really treat the men like second class citizens.
But at the end of that scene where Ed tripped, I was cracking up.
Yep. And of course, we learn a little bit about them. They're like, they won't the Genesi, they will not ally themselves, but they are willing to negotiate. And they're like, are all your mails so slow? And then, of course, we see Ed wearing orange, and he's seated where Charlie is on the bridge. And they stare at Bortus. Like, there's a point where they just stare at Bortus. Bortus is wearing red, I believe. He's like, and they're all just looking at him, and they're like, just go, just go.
Yeah, because this Genesi can't like Mocklins.
No, they'd be like they're like the polar opposite. So there'd be like, you know, nothing but like violence and weeping and gnashing of teeth. If I want to go, you know, if I want to quote the New Testament, that's what bringing them together is going to be. So
they might ally themselves with the Mocklin thing.
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't get to see more. One thing about this season I've noticed is we haven't seen much of Bortus, to be honest. I think we've seen more of Charlie than we've seen of Bortus.
We've seen more of Charlie than we see of anybody on the show.
Yeah, even more than Ed, probably.
Yep.
But yeah. So we find out that there's an energy surge on the planet. Despite that, so the planet that they're orbiting around is basically a colony. It's like an abandoned colony. I forget the race. I forget the race that once lived there. So basically the men need something to do. So the men take Charlie and go down to the planet. So Charlie gets more screen time now. All right, that's page 1. So now I'm on page 2 of my notes. So
it was a mining colony, and the alien race mined the planet for every drop that it had. That's why it's all fucked up.
Okay. And so we're back to the blue aliens, and it's dinner time. We find out that the K1's name is K1, and he's programmed with thousands of recipes. Collegus stew. The kids want to take K1 to school. K1 says yes. K1 wants to learn what school is. And of course, the dad is like, no, you got to stay here. Because you're that's what you're programmed to do. You're programmed to work. You're programmed to serve us. And yes, and of course, are the blue people? That thing I asked is, are the blue people Kalon? Well, yeah, they're Kalon. Yeah,
actually, they look more gray to me than blue, like almost gunmetal gray.
Okay, I mean, I just put blue because I thought they looked kind of bluish.
Okay,
you know, gray and bluish kind of close together.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
No problem. It's your show.
No, you're probably right. Or maybe I don't know. All right, so let's so now we're back.
We'll compromise. Bluish gray.
Bluish gray. Bluish gray. Remember your role, sir. Remember your role here. Now I feel like a freaking Kalon. And my eyes are red because of my convention crud that I got. So maybe this episode is a prophecy.
I think you need some bourbon.
Oh, I need a lot of things. I need some more Theraflu right now. But yeah, so let's so we're back on the colony. So we're back. They landed on the colony. It was a pretty cool shot. I loved how it looked. And they're in the corridor. They're in the colony, and it kind of looks like made me think of aliens a little bit. They're in the corridor and they're investigating, and they step into an elevator, and they go all the way down. They go to one of the very low levels of the colony, and a Kalon greets him. Yeah, and this elevator this elevator sequence made me think of the Metroid games because I'm a big Nintendo fan. I'm a big Metroid fan. And Samus really goes deep into a planet and then comes out and all these creatures are trying to kill her and stuff. So
The Eevees?
but yeah, so but they get down and they meet a Kalon. They meet a Kalon with orange eyes. So they're in a lab and they meet a once again they meet a Kalon with orange eyes, and we find out his name is Timus.
Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah, and Timus has emotions. This Kalon has emotions. And everybody, of course, they react the way they would normally react to a Kalon. They're the first thing they do is they point their weapons at him. And Timus insists that he's not dangerous. And then we meet Dr. I think her name is Vilka. Okay, Dr. Vilka. And we find out that her and her father founded the Kalon ship that crashed on this world. And I believe she repaired him and was able to come up with a way to expand his dormant electrochemical pathway. And hence Timus was given full emotions. And I think they call it the integration nexus or whatever. So So this opens up the idea that maybe all Kalons can be modified to have emotions, to have this thing called empathy. And we'll find out. We'll find out where that goes. But so far, what do you guys think?
I think when they get back to Earth, the Union security will want to weaponize it. They will want to basically put something in them that make the Kalon want to all kill themselves.
Yeah, that's not that could be. Do you think they will go kind of dark like that, like something like a Section 31 type of situation?
Well, we're not being Section 31. They'd be right up front about it. Like either it's them or us, and I say them.
Yeah,
and it's probably going to be Ed and Isaac who try to talk them out of it, but basically like a computer virus, wipe them all out, or modify them to be non-violent, or maybe they can put in the Asimov rules to do no harm to biological.
Yeah, do no harm whatsoever. Yeah.
It'd be no different than what Section 31 did with Odo, putting that changeling virus in. So when
yeah, that's kind of that's what I was
with
thinking.
The Great Link, that's how the rest of the changelings got infected.
Yeah, and then it was because of that they were able to end the war. Since Odo was willing to, they used Odo. Odo was willing to cure them. So Bashir came up with a cure, and then Odo was willing to cure the female changeling, the leader of the Dominion army. And then that led to the end of the war. So yeah, perhaps something equivalent to that might be in the future with the Kalon. They do mention, because of all the stuff that they learned from Timus, that they are considering building a defense against the Kalon weaponry. So, but that was something that was like kind of felt like a throwaway line in a single scene that wasn't really expanded much after that. So. But yeah. So.
Well, I think Lamar and Isaac was thinking more of a defense, like something that maybe like pulse them or stall them whenever they attack. But once they get back to Union Central, they're gonna want to be on more on the offense, not the defense.
Yeah. So we find out a little bit more about Timus. We find out that Timus basically disagrees with his people, with what the Kalon are doing. He wants to coexist, and of course Charlie objects to him, and of course Charlie does. And I'm trying to read what I wrote. Yeah, they Lamar. So they figure out, the Union needs to know this is something that could be really important for them dealing with the Kalon. So they go back to the ship. Um, we find out Lamar meets Dr. Vilka, and he is really impressed with the integration nexus. And they basically say that this might be the means for peace with the Kalon. So, while they're doing that in engineering, Charlie basically gets rid of all the male engineers. So the one dude, what was his name? What was
The big
the other guy? The other, not Yeffet, but the other guy. I forget what he is.
But
Unk. They get rid of Unk and they get rid of Yeff, and of course a nice little
This is bullshit.
nice little it's a nice juicy Norm Macdonald. This is bullshit. They were leaving.
And Unc said they can't even tell if I'm male.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I didn't even know Yeff even had a gender, to be honest.
Well, he's hot for Claire.
Yeah, he has a male voice, so I guess he is. Yeah, that was great though. There's 3 more episodes left. I hope they got at least a good Yeffet. I hope. But
Do you think
not,
we'll get another court episode? Maybe something like Drumhead, where the Union wants to put Isaac on trial for war crimes?
I don't know. That'd be an interesting idea. I think that'd be a very interesting idea.
I think, or even worse, what if they suspect Ed of treason? Because Isaac was on his ship, he reactivated Isaac. His problem was with the Krill, having the daughter stuff. They might think he's a spy or something.
You need to have another admiral. Obviously, can't be the ones that we already know.
Right.
We only know a certain amount of. We lost Mike. Mike abandoned me. Oh well.
Mike.
Oh well.
Mike, what's up, Mike?
He'll come crawling back. Whoops. Whoops. I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm kidding, Mike. I know if you're listening, I'm kidding. Do electric sheep dream of androids? That's a good question. It's too bad. Philip K. Dick is not alive to answer that. So, if Mike can, whenever Mike can come back, he might be internet issues. Who knows? Brandon's not able. If I forgot to say, Brandon's not able to make it either. He has internet issues too. He was supposed to guest. So Nate, you are a lifesaver.
No problem. I'm happy I can help out. Actually, if this happened yesterday, I would have been the one with internet problems because I had lost power. We had a really massive storm here.
Yeah. And
having internet problems.
Oh, okay.
We figured as much.
Can I just say you came crawling back? Can I just say that? Okay,
Wow.
All right, I won't say that. All right, I won't say that then. Let's get back. Let's get back to this. So we're back to Tala and Lamar. Apparently, Tala's been annoying. Tala's been avoiding Lamar. Lamar still really wants the relationship, and she's just like, I don't think this is going to work. I continually injure you, and he's like, well, I think this is real, and I don't want to lose it. And then she's like, okay, sure. So. Yeah, let's just say we'll see more. So, and
I just want to know who office is that? Is that Tala's security office or is that Lamar's engineering office?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's Tala's office because I think he was visiting her, or he was going after her.
Well, no, because they were right outside of engineering, right? And we were around the corner. And pss, pss. She came and then they went right around the corner and came into here. And look at the L card.
Schematic.
I think that's his office, not hers.
Okay, then it's his office. All right, then I'm wrong. Okay.
I know what I'm saying. I think so because if you look at all the L cards, they're all schematics of the ship itself and engineering.
Yeah.
But then again, as security, she will probably have those as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I want to say, of course, I want to say hello to Salty Texas C. He says booga booga. Just member of the Nerdporial Continuum, and thanks for coming by. And I also want to say hello to the Jack of all casuals. That's what happens when you date the creator. All right, so let's keep going. So we're back to the bluish gray people. I had to amend that for Nate. So
you didn't have to.
So right now the bluish gray people are watching colorful light. They're watching colorful light orb thingy.
I
kind of made me
thought
think,
about.
It made me think of Revenge of the Sith
Me too.
Oh yeah.
When Anakin visits the Emperor and they're watching that big giant. It was like they made it look like an opera thing, just with a big orb, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
It was like people swimming in and out of it.
Yeah, and of course, K1 is there serving the drinks, and then of course he gets dismissed by Dad. I call him Dad.
Dad's a dick.
Yeah, Dad is a huge dick. And of course, the Kalon is curious about what that is, and the dad is just getting mean and tells K1 to go clean. K1 asks why. Why is he the only one to do such tasks? Why is he the only one that has this servitude? And ultimately, it leads to them saying, "Hey, power down." And he's like, "Okay." And he goes and powers down. So. Yeah, it just came. It got to the point where I was like, "This must be the Kalon," because this is just like, this is just like the way like he's treated like a new machine and everything. And who built the Kalon? Well, the Kalon. They just all that's left of them is oh boy, it gets dark. It gets dark. Because we get to see where it began, and I believe it was unfortunately. Now I got a question for you. So K1, do you think K1 is Kalon primary?
Yes,
that's what I was wondering.
Okay, because that's what I'm thinking too. Because at first I thought K1 and what the hell's his name again? Timus. At first I thought K1 and Timus were the same person, but I don't think they are.
The reason why I think K1 is Kalon primary, if you listen to his voice, he sounds just like the actor who was Kalon primary, just speaking in a softer tone.
Okay. I'll have to check that. I'll have to check that, but I think you're right. It did sound very familiar. So, but yeah. So I'm on page 3 now. So now we're back to Dr. Vilka. If I mess up her name,
Vilka.
Dr. Vilka explains. She explains more to Lamar. She explains more of the stuff to Lamar. More techno babble that I just didn't even bother writing down. And of course, Lamar's like, "You're a genius! Yay!" And then of course Isaac walks in, and this is and then Timus. We find out Timus is excited, and we get to see this conversation that they have. And I really narrowed this down, so I'm sure there's a lot more to the conversation. But I literally wrote down that they discussed the Kalon, the battle mainly. Of course, Isaac talks about his error. They both talk about remorse and enlightenment. And Timus literally offers Isaac emotion. He's like, "I can offer this to you." It kind of made me think of Data and Lore a little bit, to be honest.
Well,
me too.
Actually, I was so afraid that it was going to turn into a Lore situation where he just pretending to be nice, and then he's going to turn around and turn on them all.
I was hoping for it.
Yeah, I mean, that might still be a possibility in the future. I don't know, depending if they get more Kalon, they get more emotional.
Because they are taking Timus back to Earth, so he's going to be inside of the defenses. He could be a Trojan horse.
Yeah, that could be true too. So, I'll just say it ends at an interesting point. So, but before we talk about that, we'll get through the rest of this episode.
Okay.
But I loved, but yeah, the orange eye Kalon are the older models, and I don't think we ever see any other models like Isaac. Isaac is like the only. So the blue eyes basically represents the latter generation of Kalon that were built by the first generation Kalon.
And I think Isaac was specifically built for the mission he was sent on. He had no idea he was a sleeper agent. He was built as he was doing to learn about biologicals and then relay all that information. And then when they had enough information, they just shut him off because they were done with him. The only reason they turned him back on because the Orville brought him back, and they thought maybe they could still use him.
So you think Isaac is basically the only Kalon that has the blue eyes? That there's no other Kalon like him?
Oh no, because remember when they first went to Kalon, planet Kalon, didn't they all have blue eyes until they all went evil?
I think they all had red eyes the entire time.
I was gonna
in
say,
Identity.
In Identity Part 1, they all had red eyes.
Yeah, they all had. Yep. So Isaac's probably the first one they built since the mass forced extinction.
I got an interesting question for y'all. Do you think there's other Kalon like Isaac out there in other parts of the galaxy?
Well, that was a good question because I thought this myself. If the Kalon biologicals were so advanced, they didn't have colonies on other planets, and were the Kalon machines able to wipe them all out?
That's a good question. They wiped everyone on the planet, on their planet. We know that for sure. But yeah, that could be a possibility.
At least they had a distance to bury them.
It's one thing that I was talking to Spock about. Are we gonna encounter the Kalon species themselves? The last remnants of the species.
I think we. You know what? After just thinking about this for for like a minute, I think we will now.
Yeah,
and I think it'd be pretty cool if we did.
What if? Here's a thought. What if the Union finally make peace with the Kalon machines, and the Kalon biologicals that survived were building up their forces to come and attack the machines, and then the Kalon machines asked the Union for help?
I don't know. That's pretty interesting, to be honest. So I do. A member has a question. Was this episode good? Okay. Mike, can you answer this for him?
It's really up to the individual person. Let's be honest here. To me, I didn't think this episode was that great. When I would start giving my own review, I first gave it a 3 out of 5, and then as I started going through the review a little more, it changed to a 2 out of 5.
Good Lord, man.
Holy cow.
You heard it
from Mike himself.
I mean, man.
On the record.
It's not an episode of Discovery.
No, it's not an episode of Discovery, but it just felt like they were trying to get too many plot points.
There was a lot of
one episode.
You thought this episode was a little too busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. That's reasonable.
So where did I leave off? Okay. So, all right. Now we're in the next scene, and they're talking to Admiral Halsey, and they're giving him a report, and he orders them to transport Dr. Vivka and of course Timus to Earth after the Genesi negotiations. And of course, Admiral Halsey has to open his mouth and say that the new uniforms look good on Kelly and Ed. And then, of course, Kelly, being snarky, says to Ed, "Get the hell out of my chair." So yeah, I thought that was nice. And of course, we're in another scene, more Chilean sex. This time, Lamar's leg is broken. So this time, Lamar gets his leg broken. And of course, he's like, "Nope, I'm fine. I'll think of a way to get to sickbay." And he's hobbling against the wall. He's struggling. And Isaac's there. Isaac's like, "Hey, it'll take you like 19 minutes to get at your current rate. It'll take you exactly 19 minutes at your current rate. I can just carry you." He's like, "No, don't carry me. Don't do that. I can't be seen. But help me anyway." So he helps him to sickbay. And of course, we learn that he not only had a broken leg, but a fractured pelvis too. And of course, Claire's like, "Really? Really? Really? You're still doing this? Like, I need to know what's going on here." And of course, doesn't say anything. And of course, it ends similarly to Isaac as she goes and talks to Isaac. And I think this was over dinner. And of course, she asks Isaac the question. It's like, "What did you think of Timus?" And he basically, what Isaac says to her is that he's in the interest of efficiency, he's not interested in emotions. And of course, because they're in a relationship, well, she's disappointed. So a little bit we're a bit on the selfishness of Claire, because she wants to be loved, which is is a thing.
Selfish.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are. We're all. I mean, selfish in a good way. I mean, we're all selfish. I mean, we all want things. She wants love. It's still selfish, but it's a reasonable selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we're back to the bluish gray people, and we meet the I'm guessing he's the CEO of the Kalon
Cybernetics.
The Kalon Cybernetics. I'll call him Dr. Light because Mega Man. I'll just call him Dr. Light.
Yeah.
Dr. Light.
Dr. Light, Dr. Kalon Light is having problems. He has 53,000 complaints from all the people that have purchased I'll just say robot. I'll just say robot and sound like a barbarian. All right, so 53,000 complaints on their people on their newly owned robots, and we learned that the CEO was aware and had the AI developed to learn how to adapt, and of course to develop further consciousness and typical Westworld stuff. And of course, I don't know if this was his. I don't know who she is. I'm guessing she's his assistant or his
marketing VP.
Yeah,
marketing VP. And she's like, "This is an ethics issue," and he offers a solution. And of course, I knew exactly right away what the solution was because they talked about it in Identity Part 2.
Yeah.
And of course, he says the public is like, "This is not right. The public will be made aware of this." And he's like, "Oh, the public are idiots. Look who they elected." And I was like, "Is this another jab at a certain particular?" Okay, I'm not gonna even go there.
Actually, to be honest, that could be a jab at any politician.
I agree.
Yeah, it could be anybody. I'll say Boris Johnson. Prime Minister that recently left. Boris Johnson.
Okay. Or even our own president who can't seem to speak. Two simple words.
I was thinking Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. Yeah, definitely Ronald Reagan. That's exactly what Mike's talking about. So, Mike, you're a genius. I'm glad I let you back on this panel, Mike. You're awesome.
Well,
you saved me from Mama Susan. So all right, so now we're back in the galley, and they're having a dinner for the Genesi. Of course, once again, they're going into Star Trek 6 or Space Seeds territory. You know, having dinner with
undiscovered country.
Undiscovered country, yeah. having dinner with aliens, and of course they're like this. They're like, and of course they object to the men being there,
Especially the Mocklin.
especially the Mock. Excuse me. Especially the Mocklin. So they're like, oh, they're just here to learn. They're just here to we're here to teach them. So they're like, oh, okay, fine. We'll allow this. And of course, they play music. They play piano music, and they're like, "Who is this? This is great." And they're like, "Well, this is Rogers and Hammerstein, two males." They're like, "Oh, really?" And of course, we learn about the reason why they are a matriarchal society. Basically, men bad because of men bad, war and suffering and violence, and hence they have to keep them subordinated. And of course, right away, I forget which one wants Ed, but they're like, okay, we want him to mate. We want Ed. It was
her first officer.
The first officer wants Ed to mate. Like, we want him. Can we have him?
Because he has soft hands.
And what's even better was Gordon's like, I'll do it. Gordon's like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
He did.
That was funny. His willingness to volunteer.
That was that made me laugh. I love that.
I feel I'm surprised Lamar didn't say that.
But it gets to a point where like Ed's like it gets to a point where they're like, Ed's had enough, and he basically is like he's nodding to Kelly to get her to reveal that he's actually the captain, and they do. And of course, how does this all end? Well, they leave in disgust. And of course, there was another great moment. Boris is like, "They're awful." They're awful. Dude, who would deal with a race that is so one-sided, so close-minded? Yeah, exactly.
They were awful.
Go, Ed, Padawan like, Ed didn't even seem interested. Go, Gordon. Yep. I'll do it. Yep.
He'll take one for the Union. He'll take one for the Union.
Oh man, so soft hands, so emasculating. Yep. Yep. So we're okay. So that was a great little scene. And of course, now we're back to Dr. Vivka and Timus, and we learn that they have access to more Kalan subsystems. I mentioned this earlier. Perhaps they can develop a defensive weapon against Kalan. That was something that was brought up. And then, of course, then Charlie walks in, and then Timus tries to talks to her, and tries to apologize to her. And I'm gonna say a swear word. She's still a bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Timus. And then this is where it gets really interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, DJ Raiji.
He kind of had this creepy vibe, like even though she's kind of a B word. I mean, I don't think that apology would make me feel at ease from her position. I'd be like, what is this lore guy up to?
So you're saying she's a Star Trek: The Next Generation fan, and she knows about Data and lore?
Actually, good point. You got me there.
I'm kidding. I know what you're getting at. I know what you're getting.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's only met one other Kalan, so she's still. I mean, yeah. This is something that. I mean, this is not an easy thing to get. This is not an easy thing to get over. It's. But even with an apology, I mean, how does she know he's even genuine?
No, but at the same time, she has never met a Kalan outside of Isaac and Timus, and the two Kalans she have come face to face with are not trying to kill her. So get your head out your ass, Charlie.
Nate says it. Nate said it. So yep, get your head out of your ass, Charlie. And does she do it? Well, stay tuned to find out. So, So yeah, so Tim, so we get a nice little story from Timus, and I thought this was the most interesting part of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So the Kalon became self-aware. They asked for freedom, but instead, and this was the upgrade that the CEO, Dr. Light, Dr. Kalon Light, gave to them, and they gave them pain receptors, which was something that Kalon Primary revealed in Identity Part 2.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is what led to such immense hatred for biologicals, for organics, as Star Trek Voyager would say. And they used it as an enslavement tool. And yes, they can feel pain too. The Timus reveals that they can feel pain. They are sentient, just like Charlie. And of course, now we're back on the we're back on the blue-gray Kalon world.
Yo, these kids are.
And
the Kalon homeworld.
The Kalon homeworld, basically. So K1 sets the table, and Dad asks for help in the yard. He's like, "Stop what you're doing. I need your help in the yard." And he's like, "Well, he's like, well, Mom asked me to set the table before she got back." And he says that then, of course, Dad says it can wait. But K1 thinks otherwise, rather do one thing, get one thing done, and then do it. And of course, that's when Dad takes out the pain controller and hits him, and we get to see how it looks when a pain receptor is activated, and it looks awful. It looks terrible. It looks like it looks beyond painful. Like they are completely immobilized. Like they can't even do anything, and yet they can feel that.
Yeah, they can't even stand or speak.
Nope, it's a pain beyond anything. So, and of course and then of course we learn that the organics have used this, and they've become cruel and sadistic, and they even became hateful due to the helplessness of the robots, the androids. And we see the kids abuse the K1 with the controls every time they ask him something.
And he was just getting cookies for them too. I mean,
yeah,
so mean.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow. I watched us, and I was like, wow. And then we learned that they've learned to communicate with each other, and this is where it gets really dark.
The Connecto Network.
What is it?
The Connecto Network.
The Connecto Network?
Yeah. Well, that was Lamar called it.
Okay. And then, of course, we see K1 awakens, and then he creeps towards the parents' bedroom, opens it, and kills them with shots to the head. So it's interesting that they, I guess, I'm kind of curious that they would, a company would sell these machines, these robots, with these lethal weapons.
Oh no!
Unless they were meant to secure the house.
No. They were not there, because if you listen to what Tim has said, they learned to upgrade themselves.
They learned to upgrade themselves.
Yeah. So they built those weapons into themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
They must have had a lot of. They must have had to do in extreme secrecy without anyone learning about that.
They probably just did it while they were in their powered down.
Oh, interesting.
They learned to speak to each other over great distances and upgrade themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and this, of course, like I said, this is where it gets really dark. So, not only did he kill the parents, but he also killed both kids.
You know, when I saw that happen, and I normally I would like, oh man, but in that case, I was like, blast them brats.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't feel empathy either, man.
The little bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still dark though. But they refuse. Yeah, but here's the thing: they refuse to remain in bondage, and of course, that's what the Timus basically tells her they refuse to remain in bondage, hence what they did. And of course, then Charlie just like, oh, I gotta go back to my station. She didn't know how to respond to that. So now we're at
her big head had to go and process that.
Yes. So now we have Claire and Kelly, and Claire and Kelly have their talk. Like they had a similar talk in episode 2 when I think she was talking about her Admiral ex earlier, but now they're talking about Isaac.
Oh wait! Not to interrupt you, but I see online a lot of people refer to the Admiral, her ex-husband, as Admiral Creepy. I didn't think he was creepy.
No, I thought the Admiral was just someone that regretted an opportunity. He's an older guy. He regretted an opportunity, and he wanted to see if he can, he had that longing for her, and well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was creepy at all.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know, and then but yeah, so now we're back to Kelly and Claire are having a talk, and of course Claire talks about Isaac, and we learn that we already know this, but she's like she doesn't feel right about wanting Isaac to upgrade himself with emotions. And it ends up becoming a conversation where Kelly ends up talking about how she never really asked Ed to change when they were married, and hence why they ultimately got a divorce. So like she it wasn't just like blaming. It wasn't just blaming him or even herself. It was just the fact that she did not tell herself or ask or communicate with Ed to change some of his behavior, especially stuff that they would never change on their own. And what ultimately happened, so what basically is the point of this conversation is that Claire basically comes to that Claire makes up her mind that she should ask Isaac to go through with this for her. So now we're back to we're now in another scene with Lamar and Gordon this time, and they are talking about limited sex, and what's funny is Lamar compares himself to Isaac. He's like, me and Isaac together equal one perfect life. Isaac has all the sex and Lamar has all the love. And that's all I wrote about that. I don't remember was there anything else said?
Well, Gordon had a funny line. He says maybe we should wear a helmet, and he says something, and Lamar says stop joking. He says that was actually a serious suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course we're back to Isaac. We're back to Isaac and Claire, and she basically asks him over dinner, and she tells him that she wants to be loved. So that's all I took away from that scene. And now we're back in bed with Lamar and Tala, but this time Tala is crying.
Oh boy.
Tala is crying. They ended.
Now this scene, I found it very funny.
Oh my god!
They ended. Let's just say they ended the relationship.
I don't know if I can show this.
Yeah, I think you should. You can show it.
Okay.
And for good reason. Let's just say Lamar's face is completely swollen. He has like major bruises on his upper body, and he's actually lost several teeth.
The best part is he said it was worth it.
And he says it was completely worth it.
I just want to know what the hell they were doing for him to end up like that.
That's Kale. That's Selene. That's Selene sex. You never know.
He spits out him.
Even just like that picture, I'm cracking up.
I'll say this, DJ Ryan G. Thank you so much for putting these images up to just
Yeah.
to reinforce what I'm saying, because this is gold.
Yeah.
And I just want to say hello to I want to say hello to L. Grantum's heir. It says Lamar Tala's relationship reminds me of Worf and Jadzia's workout from DS9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What episode was that, Mike? Do you remember? I forget what episode that was where they work out. Was it was it the one with Quark? Was the one where Quark had to pretend he was a warrior? Season 5?
I think it was, but I don't want to say it was because I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too. I need to rewatch that episode. And Mags is laughing. And Antiderivative Jill's here. What's up, Antiderivative Jill? Remember, she's integral to the conversation. That's a map dad joke. So, all right. So let's keep going. So next scene, Isaac. Isaac visits Vishka and asks her something. What does he ask her? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. And of course, the Genesi. So now we're in the next scene, and we learn that the Genesi are trying to leave. There's basically no common ground. But they learned one thing. They went through like all their laws and stuff. We learned that the Genesi men must be faithful, and the women do not have to be faithful. So how do they find common ground? Well, through Ed and Kelly's marriage. And how it ended. Basically how it ended. Their divorce is what the common ground is. So Kelly cheats on Ed, and Ed remains faithful. Hence, they have common ground.
Yeah, I did think this part was a little weak.
Yeah. I agree. Ben Thatcher is. I'm on the same side. I'm on the same side too. And they're like, okay, sure, fine. If you want to, if you want to send a representative from the union, we'll receive them.
We will receive her.
Oh, her. See my.
I was wondering
my
about
toxic masculinity has made me say him by default. I will do better. I will do better. It is not okay. It is not okay.
Well, those three were exhibiting some extreme toxic femininity.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I will do better. I will do better. I'm sorry if anybody's triggered by this. I don't know what to say.
If anybody's triggered, they can kiss an ass.
Yeah, I know. I'm being an asshole right now.
That's the bourbon talking.
That's a Theraflu talking for me. So now we're Claire. Claire's reading a book, and then she hears something at the door. She opens the door. There's a package there. She opens the package, and it's a dress, and it's a dress from Isaac. It's like, come to dinner. Wear this at dinner.
I must say, Isaac got good taste in dresses.
Yeah, and then she gets to the she's wearing that nice red dress, and she gets. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, this is gonna make me sound like a toxic male, but I don't care. I've always found Penny Johnson Gerald to be an attractive woman.
Yeah, she's all kinds of fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her in 24. I've seen her in, DS9. Yeah, I mean, come on, she got Ben Sisko. She got Ben Sisko to remarry. I mean, come on. So,
yep.
Like my daddy used to say, I'll crawl over. Like my dad used to say, I'll crawl over broken glass for that.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So let's go. So she gets to the simulator, and we see Isaac, but this time Isaac is Mark Jackson, and he smiles.
Just interrupt you for 1 second. I know everybody else likes seeing Mark Jackson. I think Mark Jackson is a great actor. Seems to be a great guy. But I'm sick and tired of seeing him. I'm sick and tired of seeing him as Mark Jackson. Same way I'm sick and tired of seeing Charlie all the time. I don't want to see Isaac as Isaac. I'm sorry,
It's like
that's just me.
it's like seeing the real Brent Spiner, man. First time I saw that, I was like, he don't look nothing like him.
Yep. I don't know. I every time I see, I don't know. I'm happy to see Mark Jackson. I don't know. Maybe it's because I
know he's glad to be out of that suit. It must be hot in there.
Oh yeah. It looks awful. But yeah, he did it. He says it's wonderful to see you. He has emotions. He has anticipation. He has loneliness. He has longing. He feels safe.
He has guilt.
He feels love. He feels sad. He feels guilt. They kiss.
Honestly, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
What he said, the way he said it was like, I feel bad for the people who cannot have you in their lives or some crap like that. And I was like, that's very, very deep.
That was very deep. I love that. It made me think of this scene. Made me think a little bit. Remember in the episode from the original series where Spock gets hit by the spores, this side of paradise.
Oh yeah,
by the love spores.
By the love spores, yeah.
Oh my god, that was something.
It kind of made me think of that, but not as deep, because Spock was just being a jerk to Kirk. He's like, he's like, are you out of your mind? You were ordered to report back to me. I didn't want to, Jim.
He was a dick.
So, but it made me think. It made me think of that. But that was. But Spock was in that episode. Spock was genuinely happy for the first time in his life. So, but of course, then Star Trek: Strange New Worlds came out and retcon that because that's all that show is now is a retcon. Like they literally copied Balance of Terror. That was their finale. Was they copied Balance of Terror. And they met the Romulans. They saw the Romulans for the first time, which was a major plot point that even Enterprise. I'm sorry, I'm ranting now, but even Enterprise tried to maintain.
Exactly.
So Strange New Worlds is not. So Strange New Worlds is not canon. It's in its own universe. It's Paramount Plus's attempt to reboot the original series.
I have two words.
That's all it is. If you like it, that's great.
I have two words when it comes to Strange New Worlds. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna even say it's complete shit. I'm just gonna say it doesn't interest me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out. I'm done.
I'm not interested in reboots. I'm not interested in any more reboots.
I'm done with Star Trek. I'm done with Star Wars. Just give me my Orville and bring on season 4 of Dark Matter already.
Yeah.
There's a great quote from Trouble with Tribbles when it comes to Kurtzman Trek. It shouldn't be hauling garbage. It should be hauled away as garbage.
Actually, I made a meme
I got that. Wait, I think
I made a meme to that.
Oh, you got it.
Wait, I have it. Wait.
Laddie, don't you think you should rephrase that?
I meant to say that it should be hauled away as garbage.
Except I made a meme to that. I'll find it when it's over. I'll send it to you. Where I took the pictures and when he says that, and then I got Scotty with hold his drink saying, "When you're light, you're right."
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's just it's just. I mean,
okay, let's get away from the dark place. Let's come back towards the light.
Well, I mean, the dark. I mean, yeah. And I thought we talked about the darkest part of the episode. And it ended up being about Star Trek. Sorry. So yeah, going forward.
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Yeah, that too. Okay, yeah. So Isaac and Claire, they kiss.
You know what? That actually made me feel very sad when he lost it. And and kudos to Mark Jackson because he switched. If he switched it, his whole face, his demeanor, he just went back to the Isaac like that.
Yeah.
You saw the happiness.
I
You
mean-
really saw the happiness leave from his face.
I thought about this. I'm like, they're not going to keep him like this forever. This is going to be a temporary thing for Isaac. And I was right, because right after he says all this other stuff, he says he feels whole. He says loneliness of being a Kalon is gone. He feels like he was just born, doesn't want to go back to what he was. They dance. And then, of course, that's where, and right after that, they stop. And then, of course, the neural modification is gone. And we learn that because we learn that the reason why it's gone is because Isaac is a later model and it was built slightly differently. His neural pathways are different. And the only way to fix this, or the only way to reverse to modify him, would also require him to have his memory completely erased. And the thing was, Isaac was still willing to go through with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Claire comes in and says, "No, I don't want you to lose all this. I don't want you to lose everything that you've built over the years, that we've built." So she says, "No."
I have a theory. The reason why the modification didn't work on Isaac, because he doesn't need it. The fact that Isaac was willing to erase himself for Claire shows that he loved Claire. The reason why Isaac did the surgery on Topa, because he didn't want Claire to leave. The reason why he ripped the head off Kalon Prime, because he couldn't hurt Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has emotions.
Right.
Even
So that's why the upgrade didn't work.
Yeah. You know what? That's a very good theory. And I actually, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I will buy it. Will I buy it for $1, like the guy from RoboCop? Maybe.
I'll buy that for
$1. Yeah. But that's a very I want that to be true now. So that's a great theory.
Would you like to know more?
Sure.
No, say from Starfleet Trooper.
Oh. Yeah.
Same guy made both movies.
There you go. So now we get we're at the very final scene, and Isaac's working at a station, and then of course Charlie approaches him. I was like, is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be what we were waiting for since episode 1? And she says she offers to help, and Isaac says, "You can't help me. You're just gonna hinder my progress." And then, of course, she ends up talking about herself. She talks about texture. She talks about nuance. And she comes to the realization that she oversimplified her treatment of him, that she wasn't understanding. And she ultimately apologizes. And then, of course, she walks away. And then Isaac changes his mind and allows her to help him. And that's a beautiful way to end the episode. And that, my friends, is what the hell's the name of this episode again? From Unknown Graves.
I think they could have had less Charlie in this episode. I mean, it's easy that Lieutenant Turcos should have been the chief engineer, not the navigator Charlie. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And if they had Charlie come into she could have went down to the planet, sure, because she's not the chief engineer. And when she comes into the lab and runs into Timmy, that's fine scene. And at the end when she talked to Isaac, outside of that, there was too much fucking Charlie in this show. I mean, and I'm not hating on Charlie. Like a lot of people are. Some people refer her to Wesley, but she ain't that bad.
Oh no. I don't think she's nearly that. Like, even I don't even hate. I'll be honest. I don't even hate Wesley. I mean, Wesley gets a lot of crap too. People call him a Mary Sue. I mean, yes, he does save the ship more often than he should, or way more often than he should. But he still gets a lot of crap. Maybe,
Well, actually,
I
I
don't know.
think Wesley. I think he gets more crap because Will Wheaton is such a dick.
Hmm.
Will Wheaton is, yeah, well, especially with him now.
Oh, Jesus
Mhm.
Christ!
Yeah.
On Christ.
Oh, don't even get me started, man. Oh.
He's not even someone you want to even talk to.
I
Just
mean,
saying something that might trigger him.
yeah, I mean, if Will Wheaton was on fire, I wouldn't even piss on him.
Okay.
Maybe I had too much. Maybe I had too much bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Contagious.
Duck
Oh my God.
Wesley. Duck Wesley. But Chad, if you're still doing it, tell us what your ultimate scores are for this.
Wait. 1 minute. How does Samuel L. Jackson talks to Wesley Crusher?
How does he talk to Wesley Crusher?
Shut the fuck up, Wesley.
Okay, there you go. The Star Trek, directed by Quentin Tarantino. So chat. Let us know what your ultimate scores are for this episode, and if you want to share why you feel that way, let us know. But let's go around the horn. DJ Ronnie G, what would you give this episode? What are your final thoughts on this episode?
It's a great question because I was really hoping to be critical today. Like I wanted to be that shade of shadow because everyone's so positive. Everyone's giving these shows 9s and 10s. Somebody's got to be the voice of negativity. But no, I enjoyed it. I really was craving background for the Kalon, and I got some background. It wasn't that BS story of like, oh, here's a bad guy and we're going to make him look like, we're going to justify their badness. This is actually like, it explains why there's mass graves. Well, actually, it does not explain the mass graves. I mean, did they simply kill the people and then build a new city on top of them? Or did they actually bury them? Well, anyway, that's besides the point. I give it an 8.
Okay. What about you, Nate?
Well, like I've been giving all these episodes up until now, I would usually say they're 11 or 10.5. This one was very funny. The comedy was real good in this one. Plus, they gave us some real good story when it came to the Kalon. I'm agreeing with Mike. There's a little too busy. So my final grade, I would probably say I have to give it like an 8.9.
And you, Mike, the one and only Pacific 414?
Well, you already know that when I did my own reaction, that my rating out of a scale of 5 went from a 3 to a 2.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm gonna do it out of a scale of 10, well, it's a 3 out of 10 for me. And it's because it was busy.
Okay, fair enough. I can.
Fair enough.
I had the same sentiment in terms of the amount of I couldn't keep track of like what's an A plot, what's a B plot, but really, like I said, I homed in on the plot I wanted, and I was satisfied with that one. But I can totally get where you're coming from.
So DJ Ronnie G, I just got you a sub. You got yourself a sub from
All right.
Wakizashi's Tea House. So you know what? I expect a cut. I expect a cut from that arrangement.
When I hit my
$5 is
1,000,
usually the normal cut.
Yeah, of course. So Anti-Derivative Jill says she gives this one an F. Sorry, I hate doing this, but I have too many props. A few positive things.
Interesting.
And then Ben Thatcher says, I hate to say it, but I'm with Mike. I rate this lower than the hated time travel episode. This is a 3 out of 10 for me.
Wait a minute. I love the time travel episode. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. No show or episode or movie is perfect. There's always some faults you'll find in it. But overall, I thought the time travel episode was good. My problem was with how they handled, especially the end. There was no reason for Ed to tell Gordon what they were going to do. He should have simply said, okay, you can stay here, have a good life. It was nice to meet you talk to his family and leave. And once they were outside the house, Tala should have said, "But Captain," he said, "we're going to bring Gordon home from 2015." That would have made that episode a lot better.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I kind of also feel that second time they visited him with Tala, I felt was unnecessary. It was completely fruitless. They should just left at that point instead of harassing him to come back, because they were going to bring
I'm just
him.
going to say this about last week's episode. I think they should have said, screw the temporal prime directive or whatever they call it in the union. We're taking you and we're taking your family. We'll face the repercussions when we get there.
Oh, I
That
mean,
would've been-
couldn't they check records and see if that son or if that wife, did anything? Like, was she the end of their genetic line, or did she get together and procreate with somebody else? If not for Gordon, because surely they could have checked that and determined if maybe her grandson became like an important pivotal figure, and if not, well, yeah, it would have been an easy decision.
Well,
easier.
actually, I've heard other people say the same thing, take them with them, but you have to remember, if you think back to the episode where Gordon first fell in love with the cell phone, he found out that she got back with her ex, got married, and had children. So with him being with her,
Yep.
he raised that family.
Good point. Good.
Oh
point.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
That's critical. That makes it. That answers my question. Yep.
Wow, I didn't even consider that. Holy shit. Wow. So yeah, that's yeah. I like to.
So
I'm with PJ Orville Nation. I think they all exist in their own separate universes.
Well,
I think
see,
the family
I
still
also
exists.
I have a theory about that too, because always say in Star Trek, energy cannot be destroyed, only displaced. So the energy and it took a lot of energy for time travel. When they made that timeline, they leave that timeline and they move and they get Gordon back. That timeline still continues, but just alternate to their own reality. It's like many branches. So the timeline where the Orville was destroyed and Priya came and saved them, that still happened. Timeline where the Orville screwed up everything and the Kalon was basically conquering the universe, that's still happening. And we got the timeline we're in now, and Gordon's timeline is still happening. All these timelines are still happening, but oblivious to each other.
I see. Jill says Greg didn't propose or get married to Laura in Lasting Impressions. They just simply got back together. So I guess we don't know for sure.
No, Gordon said that after he looked through the phone that they got back together, got married, and had kids.
Oh, okay.
If you go back and look at the episode when he was telling about, because he didn't go through the entire phone when he made the simulation. So when he went and looked through the phone, he found out that she got back with her ex. They got married and had kids.
Okay. All right. Of course, we got Jack of all casual. He said 4 out of 10. A couple plot threads that went nowhere. A story plot that has been done before. Overall, it felt like a filler episode, especially in a short 10-episode season. Yeah, I agree. This felt like a bottle. This felt like a bottle episode, and like it just made me think of Jaloja.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been, but because the whole COVID stuff messed everything up, so they had to shorten the season. I think this would have been the filler episode, and it probably would have been like other episodes after this that they didn't get to, like they one episode that they made a book about.
Yeah. And of course, Ben Thatcher says, I think this could have been 2 8 out of 10 episodes, split between.
I agree with that. That would have been better if they were 2 episodes. They could have had this whole Janice storyline, and I could have had a subplot with Tala and Lamar getting freaky, and then the Kalon could have been a completely different story.
Okay. And yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't think this. I wouldn't give this episode a 2 out of 10, but I would give this episode maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. I still really liked it for what we saw. I felt like, but I do agree it was too busy. There was too much stuff going on. I felt like there wasn't enough focus on the hell are they called again? the women,
Janice.
the Genesi. There was not enough focus on the Genesi. That just kind of fell flat. It was funny. The Genesi plotline provided all the comedy, well, most of it. Well, or not most. Some. Okay, a portion of it. It was like there was the Genesi story. There was the love. There was the love story between obviously Isaac and Claire, and of course Lamar and Tala. Poor Gordon. Poor Gordon's kind of Gordon was the one that volunteered to sleep with one of the alien women. Poor Gordon. And of course there's the whole what was his name again? Timus. We learned about the Timus and the Kalon. The Timus and the Kalon stuff was the most interesting. We got to see this. We basically got to see what Kalon Primary was talking about. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. That was obviously the most interesting part of the episode. So yeah, I give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. But the episode ended with the episode didn't quite end all the way. They still have to take Timus and Dr. What was her name again? Vivka or whatever to Earth. So my question for you guys is this: will the next episode be about them trying to get them to Earth?
No.
I think they're gonna wait till either episode 9, maybe episode 10.
Okay.
To follow up on this episode.
So you think they'll already? So there won't be an episode where they take them to Earth. They'll already be on Earth by the time they get back to it.
Yeah. By the time we see them again, they'll already be on Earth.
Okay.
And I think the next episode we'll see they'll be in Isaac's lab, or which they say his quarters, and we'll see a egg salad sandwich pop up, and we'll know exactly 3 months after everything else.
I hope we see an egg salad sandwich. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to the most in this season. I expect that payoff to happen. Seth, Tom, make that happen. I hope that you guys made that happen.
Actually, did you see the tweet I put out earlier for my snack I made for the Orville?
No.
Yeah, well, check my tweet. You'll see. I made a lovely pita bread, slightly toasted pita bread, egg salad sandwich with homemade potato chips and pickle.
Oh, I like pickles. Pita bread's good. Oh, I thought you said peanut. I thought you said peanut in there somewhere.
No.
Oh,
pita bread, but I lightly toasted it with some butter, and then I put the egg salad inside of it.
Got you. That does sound better.
And I made homemade potato chips.
I like homemade potato chips. Those are nice. Yeah.
That sounds great.
It was, and the bourbon to wash it down, and I'm finishing off right now. And I just want for everybody's edification, I think I am drunk.
Okay.
For the record.
Jill says Boris had it right. They are awful. Genesi. I cannot remember these names.
How come I can remember it and pronounce it, and I'm lit?
I don't know. You don't have to make a horrible race to have conflict. It's just lazy writing. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So my my final take is 6 or 7 out of 10. I haven't made up my mind yet. I still enjoyed the episode. It was still way more entertaining than majority of stuff out there. But
yeah, I thought the episode was probably the funniest of all the episodes they had so far too.
Oh, definitely.
Because I was cracking up.
Definitely was. And I don't know, I'm curious, like, because I'll say this, I was listening to other people talking about it. I was listening to Odin talking about it on his channel this morning. Mm-hmm. And he was basically saying, stating all the problems with this season, how the season's different, especially the last 3 episodes. And I was probably the only one in the chat defending it. People are like, should we watch it? And I was like, yeah, you should watch it.
Yeah, it's better than watching half the shit out there right now. Oh, yeah. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
I agree.
It's still some they talk about things that everybody knows Seth MacFarlane's politics, And sometimes, you know, the way it's written, sometimes one thing Star Trek always did, they did well, was kind of, you know, kind of push past, you know, your own, you know, I forget how to put it.
Predispositions.
Your predispositions
notions.
pushes back your it kind of challenges your predispositions and everything, and that's what things I liked about it. And it did in a way that it did in a way that didn't, you know, wasn't stupid like New Trek. No. And if you like, once again, if you like New Trek, I'm okay with you. I'm glad you like something, but
it's like in that episode about a girl when Seth was when Captain Mercer was talking to Kelly, and he says, "I'm trying to play devil advocate, trying to police yourself, trying to see it from their point of view." That's all good science fiction does. It doesn't hit you over the head with this or that. It says, this side thinks this side thinks that. What do you think?
exactly. That's why I like about it. And it opens up your mind. It opens up your mind to new possibilities. And so,
I mean, I think Gene Roddenberry said he didn't write Star Trek to tell people what to think. He just wrote Star Trek to get people to think.
Yeah, get people to think, and of course, he wanted to talk about, you know, things that, you know, back then they didn't want to talk about on shows, and they use science fiction as, you know, a way to create allegory, kind of copying from, you know, Twilight Zone.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Star Trek episode with the half black and half white. What most people miss about that episode, if you were asked Spock about his bridge crew, you know, you got Chinese guy, you got a white guy, you got a black woman, you got a Russian guy, and you as an alien would ask Spock, what race is your bridge crew? He would say, they're human. Yep. He would not say they're African American or whatever, or he'll just say they're human, because that's it. We're all one race. We're human. We're the human race. We're different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different religions, different languages, but we're one race, human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that we even say racism or black race, white race, we're actually playing into the hands of the supremacists who thought they were the master race. We're all one race, you fuck ups. Sorry, that's a little
so it sounds like some people in the chat think there's going to
be
no season 4 of the Orville.
What? Are you kidding me? Orville, hashtag Orville season 4 trended for most half the day.
Oh, did it?
Most YouTube channels that talk about the Orville in a positive light. There's so many YouTube channels that just turn a new asshole in new track. Marvel, Star Wars. If Hulu, Disney is dumb enough to let the Orville go, which they would literally be leaving money on the table. This is a franchise that's actually growing. More Orville fans I run into almost on a daily basis. More people are watching the show. More people are talking about the show, and they talk about it in a positive way. Even with the nitpicks, where they say, "Well, I didn't like this, I didn't like that," but overall, even right now, this episode, we all have problems with this episode. But let me ask you this: did you enjoy watching the episode?
Yes.
I'd still rather watch this than anything from Kurtzman and company, and
that's my point. If Hulu walks away from this, they'll be dumber than Charlie Burke.
I agree. I mean, yeah, this is a great opportunity. Yeah, a great alternative to D+. D+ is crap, in my opinion. So,
I mean, and look at Disney. Disney owns Hulu, which owns the Orville. Now, Disney has Star Wars. They would have loved to have Star Trek, but they weren't able to get it. Now they don't need to because they have the Orville.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
The Orville is actually better than what Star Trek is now.
Yeah.
The Star Trek of today is unrecognizable to Star Trek.
Yeah,
the Orville is very much Star Trek, but it's also very, very much its own thing.
Yeah,
you know,
let's hope Disney. Let's hope Disney never takes over the Orville. Or puts their corporate hands on it.
Well, technically, they already has it. It's already under their umbrella.
Yeah,
But
I
this
mean,
whole-
it's under their umbrella, but it's still under Seth MacFarlane's vision.
Yeah.
Once that's gone, then it's gonna become crap like Star Wars and Trek.
Yeah, but what's going to happen because of his deal with NBC?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, the thing is, Hollywood hasn't had stars or talent anchored to a studio in decades. You can have a deal with one studio and a deal with another and a deal with a third. You know, you can produce stuff over here, you can write stuff over here, you can actually be on screen starring in stuff over there. That's not an issue anymore in Hollywood. It hasn't been for a long, long time. As long as he has the time to do it, that's going to be the problem.
Because he's not even in full control of Family Guy anymore. There are other people that are in charge.
Yeah, but actually,
and that's why.
He let that go himself. he like say, I just let people do things that they need to do while I do the other things, like the Orville and Ted. And Ted is basically going to be more voice work and writing for him. He's not going to be on screen, so he can do the Orville and Ted.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's just keep pushing that hashtag. Renew the Orville to Hulu. And so other than that, I like this episode, and I think it's we've been on for about over 97 minutes now. So I think it's time that we close. So you have anything you want to plug? Start with you, DJ Ronnie G.
I want to plug more Orville, and I think that's spelled Moreville like that. I don't know, what's his name? PJ Orville Nation's been saying that. Other than the Moreville hashtag, if that's even a thing, I guess hopefully tomorrow. I mean, I said this last week, but then I took delivery of an item that was not designed to do what I intended it to do. But tomorrow, I may very well succeed in the endeavor of backing up the save data from this Pokemon cartridge, and then we could proceed with replacing the battery. And I'm sure what's his name, Whooper Trooper would love that. So I'll do that video tomorrow if I have that delivery.
Okay.
Sweet.
How about you, Nate?
Unfortunately, my computer died on me. I'm doing everything on my phone right now. That's why I'm talking to you right now. My computer is just nothing but a big paperweight. So I had a friend of mine took me to this place where they can like build a computer to your specifications, but it was still too damn expensive for what I can afford at the moment. So it might be a while unless I can figure out how to record and edit and upload from my phone. I think I can do that. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I just got to learn how to do it.
Some people do weird stuff. They'll use a screen recorder, and it's all convoluted, but I've seen people get creative.
Yeah, I can get creative.
Or just use Power Director. I hear that's popular, but
I have Power Director on my computer. It's actually really, really good.
Yeah, they got a mobile version of that.
Actually, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Something to check out. Maybe it'll work. Maybe maybe it might meet your needs.
Yeah. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Mike? What you got to promote?
Well, of course, my channel, Pacific 4 and 4. I've been playing a certain game that I received from a certain nerdporeal life form. The only thing is he didn't include a warning label of how addictive this game is.
I don't know who this nerdporeal person is. Sounds like you're making it up, Mike.
And in case anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm getting close to the finish line. Not there yet, but I'm getting close. So I'll still be playing that. Of course, I have Pacific 4 and 4 episode review, Pacific 4 and 4 movie review. I also have Pop Talk. And speaking of Pop Talk, this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Nerdporeal and I, along with a few guests, will be talking about video games.
I can't
wait.
What do you guys think of the Tomb Raider trilogy, the reboot?
I haven't played them. I think they're too much like Uncharted. They almost every action game is like copied from Uncharted and God of War.
I actually liked 1 and 2, but I thought by the time we got to 3, we should have seen, the Laura Croft we know, not this daddy issue
girl
whining. Yeah. I mean, the first game that they had, when basically the beginning of her, I loved it. I thought it was great. I even replay it sometimes now.
I want
The
to play
second one was the second one was okay, but the third one I was like, come on, give us the 2-gun talking shit Laura Croft.
Yeah, I want to play the original game on the PlayStation. I still haven't played those.
Oh yeah, they were pretty good.
I played them. I just never passed them.
Good action.
Okay, so so join us for that stream. I'll probably be talking about my Nintendo fandom because that's what I like. But yeah, my current project I'm working on right now for my channel is, once again, and I'm still writing it. I've been busy doing other projects. But right now I'm working on my Ocarina of Time retrospective. If you know what Ocarina of Time is, it is the first 3D Legend of Zelda. And it's my favorite game of all time. So this is going to be my magnum opus. And it's probably going to be my longest retrospective yet. I'm barely halfway through the game, and I've already written 14 to 15 pages, which is well over an hour of content. So there's going to be an intermission, everything. Think of the old epics. Think of the old epic films from the 50s and 60s. And that's what you're going to get. So that's my current project, and I have a few other projects I'm going to work on after that I have lined up. I've been kind of behind on that, so that's on me. But if you haven't hit the subscribe button to my channel if you're new here. Follow me on Twitter. My handle is just Nerdporial by itself. I also have Instagram. And I have a merch store. So if you are interested in a Nerdporial t-shirt or a Nerdporial mug or a cup or glass or heck, even stickers, you go to thenerdporiallifeform.com and you see it in the stream elements in the chat. And you can buy some merch of various colors. Like that tumbler right there that DJ Ronnie G has. So it's all there. So if you're interested, check it out.
Merch.
Yeah, give me money. I'm just kidding.
No, he's not.
This is just me shamelessly promoting my stuff since that's on my stream and stuff. So, thanks so much for everybody. Once again, thank you so much for coming by for this. I know it's 2 a.m. here and there's 15 people still watching. I'm still happy. I know some people are not happy with the Orville. Well, that's why we're here. We're here to have conversations. We're not here to demean anybody, and we are here to listen, and we are here to learn from each other. And not everybody has the same opinions. This is like Salty Texas C says, this is not an echo chamber. So once again, everybody, have a great night. Have a great rest of the week. Can't wait for the stream on the weekend, Mike. And I'll just show the outro and that'll be it. Other than that, have a good night, everybody. Take care.